There is, inside of each of us, a hidden place. A place of deep longing that says, if only. If only I could do something that matters, that makes a difference. Not many of us get to scratch that particular itch, but Herschel Brown did. And that's why they call him the Canjo Man.
I have a perpetual itch to come out here, day or night. I've been in my pajamas before. Of course, my wife just sleeps, she don't know anything about it.
It is here, in this simple workshop filled with scraps of wood and dreams, that Herschel Brown puts his itch to work, using an ample supply of materials from his long-time Jacksonville construction business, fashioning beautifully crafted simple gifts for friends and family. But it was a trip to our state's mountains that turned his passion for woodworking in an entirely new direction.
And I saw a man who'd made dulcimers and played it, and I thought it was the most beautiful thing, and it was had a beautiful sound to it. But I declined to buy it because I knew I couldn't play it.
He may not have been able to play it, but that doesn't mean he couldn't make it. So Herschel turned his hand to crafting dulcimers. And then, another trip to the mountains in search of ways to fine-tune the craft of dulcimer making turned up something else. Nothing more than a dog food can taped to a plastic fretboard with a single string to strum. Herschel was drawn to the crude instrument, but his practiced eye saw room for improvement.
It didn't ring quite as loud as I thought it would ring, like I just believed that that can was too thick to be a good resonator. So I just cut out a soda can right quick and put it on there, and that thing sounded good to me.
In short order, what then was known as the Unican became the Canjo,
I can't play the darn thing.
an instrument created by a non-musician for non-musicians.
The Canjo is designed for people who can't carry a tune in a bucket or play a radio.
Once Herschel got into the rhythm of creating Canjos, he made a lot of them.
I can wheel 25, 30, 40 a day if I get in a hurry. I'm pretty fast for an old man. I had so doggone many, so I said, I'll sell the blooming things, and I called a catalog company. He said, what have you got? So I played him, We Wish You a Merry Christmas.
The catalog tapped an unaddressed need. And Canjos began practically jumping out of Herschel's hands into the lives of people of all stripes, all across the country, people who were about to have their musical itches scratched.
A few months ago, I got a call from some lady and wanted to know if I could make some Canjos with sharps and flats in it. I said, I don't know what the H of sharp and flat is.
And if the Canjo can inspire one person, why not the whole world?
A friend of mine, I met him by phone. He believes that Canjos in the hands of the American troops and in the hands of the enemy will bring peace on earth.
On a slightly smaller scale, what about Canjos in the hands of, say a dozen fourth graders?
About 10 years ago, I was writing a grant, and I wanted to use multicultural instruments, but I didn't want to leave out North Carolina because we have dulcimers. And I knew I couldn't afford dulcimers. And I called Herschel Brown and said, I'd like to buy a dozen Canjos.
I hesitated a minute and finally said that, give me a rainy day and I'll make you a dozen of them, and it won't cost you anything.
And within a couple of days, I had a dozen Canjos. The kids, just playing with it, have figured out so many songs on their own. I think music is the heart of the curriculum. I think that there isn't anything in school you can't teach through music. But then I'm a music teacher. But it really does lay the foundation for reading and math.
It is satisfying to see someone that says they has no musical ability to pick it up and play it. One gentleman, he said his wife was a classical pianist, but he couldn't play any musical instrument. He said, I'd like to at least play something. And he says, when my wife came home, I serenaded with You Are My Sunshine. And said with a big smile on her face, says, where did you get that and why didn't you get two of them? And you know, that's satisfying for a man who never played a musical instrument in one day's time serenaded his wife.
Notes of satisfaction, if not downright endearment, came in from just about everywhere one of Herschel's simple instruments ended up. And lots of folks finally got to scratch their musical itches and satisfy that deep longing that said, I wish I could play the Canjo.
I've built quite a number of pretty doggone nice buildings in this town, and people forget that. I remember that little silly stick with a can on it, I guess, so that's my legacy, which is okay.